Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening to all my makong 16,000 followers and Facebook and all other social media account like our YouTube. Ang akin pong YouTube channel, ito po ay lagi po nagre-reveal ng mga katotohanan na hindi pa po ganap na natalakay or ganap na naunawaan o ganap na nalaman ng mga kinauukulan. Kayo po yun. Sa mga hindi pa po alam kung ano po ang sikreto, kung ano po ang katotohanang dala ng ating mga ninuno, nasa tamang channel po kayo. Once again, Nonong S. Revealer po ang inyong lingkod. I'm respecting all 10,000 religions all over the world. I respect your doctrines, your teachings, your dogmas, your principles, your interpretation, siyempre po. But not to the point that will tolerate your misconceptions, misunderstanding, and misinterpretations of the gospel. So, this evening, I would like to discuss or reveal important topics. Especially po, ito po yung mga supporting documents, supporting evidences, or evidence from our topic this morning. And I would like to share it to you. Hintayin nyo lang po. Ito na po siya. Yan. Naikwento ko po kaninang umaga na si Jose Rizal ay tinuruan ni Jose Burgos. Tama po. Si Jose Burgos na Gumborsa o tatlong paring martir, sila po ang mga paring may alam sa katotohanan. Siyempre pare po yan, nag-aral po ng ilang taon yan. Alam ng tatlong paring martir na ang mga Pilipinong ninuno ang may katotohanan. Ang nagtuturo ng katotohanan. Yung problema lamang po, idinawit po sila sa pag-aaklas sa Cavite upang hindi po nila maipakalat kung ano po ang katotohanan tungkol sa Diyos ng ating mga ninuno. Siyempre, hindi nila alam na ituro na pala ito ni Father Burgos kay Pasiano. Kay Pasiano. Ayan o. Basahin natin. Yes, sabi niya. Did Jose Burgos teach Pasiano? Sabi ko. Yes, sabi niya. Father Jose Burgos was a mentor, teacher, and a close friend to Pasiano Rizal. While studying in Manila, Pasiano lived in a home of Burgos, who influenced his nationalistic views. This close association and mentorship placed Pasiano under suspicion, tama yan, by Spanish authorities, which later influenced him to have Jose Rizal use their family name to avoid persecution. Kita nyo? Napakalinaw po, di ba? Mentor niya, teacher niya, living arrangement, Pasiano lived at the home of Father Burgos while pursuing studies in Manila. Then yung kanyang shared ideology, both were deeply involved in the movement for reform and secularization of parishes. Lasting impact, the execution of Burgos in 1872 had a profound effect on Pasiano, shaping his patriotic views and influence on his younger brother Jose. Hindi pa ba napakalinaw? Ulitin ko pa, ipaliwanag ko pa isa-isa. Sus, kitang-kita po ang ebidensya, di ba? Ayan ulit. Tinuruan ba ni Pasiano si Rizal ng kanyang mga ideology mula kay Father Burgos? Yes, of course. Tingnan po. Did Pasiano teach Jose Rizal? Yes, sabi niya. Pasiano Rizal was the first and the one of the most significant mentors to his younger brother Jose Rizal. As close confidant and guide, Pasiano mentored Jose in matters of nationalism, oversaw his education, and shielded him from the dangers of the Spanish colonial regime. Yan, political mentor niya si Pasiano. Guide and protector, influencer of ideals. Napakakaya di ba? Kitang-kita naman po Financial supporter. Although Pasiano was not a formal school teacher like Justiniano Aquino Cruz, he was instrumental in shaping Jose's worldview and intellectual growth. Tanya? Napakalinaw, di ba? Deep sense of patriotism in educating him about the injustices in the Philippines. Ang linaw-linaw naman ng ebidensya. Ayan. Ano ba talaga ang paniniwala ni Pasiano? Ano ba talaga yung ideology ni Jose Burgos? Ito. Yan. Ano ba yung views ni Dr. Jose Rizal? Di ba alam naman natin na si Pasiano ang teacher niya at tinuruan din ni Jose Burgos si Pasiano. Di ba yun, no? During exile and Dapitan in 1892, ayun na po. Yan, concept of God. Ano ba ang kanya dito? Ayan. Based on the letters on Dr. Rizal wrote, it can be said that his concept of God could be summarized into three notions. First, he believed in that God existed. Then second, he believed that God was as plus supra. Lastly, he believed that God was the origin of nature. That is, nature was the expression of God. Hindi ba? Napakalinaw-linaw. Basahin natin dito. Sobrang dami pa yan. Saan na ba yan dito? I-shortcut ko na lang po. Masada pong nahaba na. Natalakay ko na po ito noon eh. Kung hindi po nakalimutan. Ayan o. As regards to the third notion, Dr. Rizal believed that if one has to understand God, he was going to do well to note that books which others claimed were tools of revelation were not reliable. The reason was books were to remove from the actual reality as these were written by people. Ayan po, tandaan niyo po ha. Bible po ito or Quran siguro ito. Interpreted by others, rewritten by people, obscured by others. The best way to have an idea of God was through connecting with Him personally, directly and physically, through His extensions. These extensions were nature. Napakalinaw po mga kapatid. Shout out to Lupang Hinirang Kaming Lopez. Napakalinaw po na ang earth at the universe na nature, yan ang Diyos ni Dr. Jose Rizal. Napakalinaw. Ang tanong, bakit ngayon lang na-reveal? Dahil ito po ang role ni Nonong Revealer na nagmamatapang para ilantad sa inyo. Ngayon lang po ni-reveal. Kita nyo na? Kung bakit may Nonong Revealer na patuloy na lumalaban at nagmamatapang? Kasi noon, ito po, ang church and state, pakinggan pa mabuti, ano? That church and state are isa lang. Tanya po, ito ang ebidensya. Ayan, no? During the Spanish colonialization of the Philippines, 1565 to 1898, the church and the state, wow, Diyos ko, nalalinaw, ano, were united as a single, interdependent entity, often functioning as the theocracy where religious orders held significant civil power. The union of church and state was facilitated by the patronato real or royal patronage, allowing the church to operate as a state builder, providing education, social services, and managing local administration, particularly in areas lacking a military presence. Hindi po ba? Sino ang hari-hari noon? Yung church. Theocratic function, colonial mechanism, legal supremacy, state building mission, contestation and transition, contested authority, shift and power, colonial rule, folk Catholicism. Kita nyo? So, sinong hari-hari noon? Hindi alam na, hindi ko nasasabihin ha. Baka masaktan pa yung iba eh. Hindi ko po hangad na sirain kayo, kundi i-build po. Diba, sabi ko na. Sino-sino ba ang pinatay, pinahirapan, pinugot ang mga ulo na mga babaylan at katalunan o shaman? Sige, tignan natin. Specific individuals, names of all babaylan and katalunan killed by Spaniards are largely lost to history. Ayan naman pala eh. Sa dami ng mga aklat na sinunog nila, wala na pong maiwang aklat. Tanyo? Maraming aklat ang sinunog para hindi lalabas ang tunay na katotohanan. Ayan, oh. Sino-sino ba yon? Si Tapar. Ayan pala, si Tapar, oh. Sixis Panay, Antique, wow. Kaya pala, nagkakuan yung balahibo ko. A male babaylan who led a revolt and many unnamed priestesses whose roles were usurped or destroyed, often resulting in their deaths or the severe repression of their practices. Ayan po ang mga ninuno namin si Tapar. Ayan, Babaylan, Asug of Panay. Many female and male Asug shamans were persecuted and killed, particularly during the Spanish crackdown of traditional practices in the Samar, Leyte area and across Panay. Persecuted leaders, historical accounts such as those analyzed by often mention anonymous shamans who were killed during the Spanish military campaigns to impose Catholicism. Pasensya po. Nabanggit ko yung religion nyo. Hindi po ba napakasakit isipin? Hindi po ba kayo nasasaktan na pinatay lang, pinahirapan lang ang ating mga ninunong Pilipino? Inalipin ng ilang libong taon? Ilang daang taon? Ha? Sa inyo po okay lang yun. Ha? Sa akin po na pag-asa ng bayan, hindi po okay yun. Ayaw ko sa inyo, baka okay lang sa inyo. Sige. Comment naman po kayo para makita ko naman yung ano nyo. Sige. Ito sila. Names of Filipino shamans killed by Spaniards. Sino itong Spaniards na ito? Eh, siyempre alam na. Church and state. Isa lang nga sila eh. Filipino shamans, known as Babaylan, Katalunan, or Babaylan, Balian, were heavily persecuted by Spanish authorities, who saw them as threats to colonial rule and Catholic conversion. Key figures killed, persecuted, included Tapar and his followers, along with the Holy Mother Maria Santissima, who was killed alongside him in 1663. Shout out to Brittany Dara. Thank you po. Nakita niyo na po ang katotohanan ngayon, na ito po yung mga ebidensya ngayon na nakita natin na pinatay lang pala ng church and state ang ating mga ninuno. Kaya nga, Nunong Revealer, ito po ang ninuno. Kaya nga, Nunong ang aking pangalan pala. Charlie ang pangalan, napakalayo, di ba? Naging Nunong. Bakit kaya? Ayan, tingnan natin. Ayan, si Tapar, pinatay. Si Maria Santissima, pinatay. Their group was involved in 1663 revolt on Oton, Panay. O, di ba? Yung Panay, antiki yan, di ba? Led by the followers of a new religious movement. According to documentation, Tapar, Maria Santissima, and other leaders were killed with their bodies impaled on bamboo stakes. Tinusok pa ng kawayan, kawawa. And thrown to crocodiles and the river, as described and detailed historical accounts from the Facebook post by Aswang Project. Tanya? Other notable mentions, historical records and folklore mention other shamans who were maintained the old ways during early colonialism, including Dupinagay or Dupangay, Monica Gapon, and Agustina Hitikon, who were involved in resisting the colonial religion. The queer or shamans, the Spanish targeted Asog or Bayugin, men who took on female attire and roles to serve as shamans due to their high status and influence in the indigenous society, leading to their widespread elimination by source at the Australian National University Intersection Journal. Many Babaylan were forced into hiding. Tanya? Nagtago sa mga yungib, killed, and forced to renounce their tradition as their community role was replaced by Spanish priors. Further reading on this transformation can be found at the Smithsonian Asian Pacific American Center. Mga kapatid, napakalinaw ng ating binasa. Napakalungkot isipin. Ako mismo nagkakan ang balahibo ko. Sa dami ng pinatay ng church and state noong unang panahon, bakit hindi ito alam ng mga Pilipino? Kasi nga, sinunog ang maraming mga resources. Sinunog ang mga aklat na magpapatunay. Pero ang internet, hindi kayang sunugin. Yun lang. Diba? Basahin ko ha. Is Rizal a victim of persecution? Biktima ba si Rizal ng persecution ng religious pa? Yes, of course. Napakalinaw. Basahin ko na lang sa inyo, no? Yes, Jose Rizal was a victim of severe religious persecution. his critical writing about the abusive practices of Spanish friars in the Philippines was made him a target of the church and colonial authorities, leading to his condemnation, excommunication, and ultimate execution. Tanya? Ako, napakalinaw pala eh. Target of the friars. Rizal was labeled as a heretic and as a subversive, with his word, particularly Noli Me Tangere and El Pelibos banned. Tanya pa? Exile in Dapitan. He was deported to Dapitan in 1892 for anti-religious and anti-patriotic propaganda, including accusation of trying to decatholicize the nation. Kita nyo? Masakit ito sabihin, pero wala tayong magagawa. Yan ang totoo eh. Persecution of family. The persecution extended to his family, including the eviction of his parents from their home in Calamba. This was instigated by the friars. Execution. Despite of his peaceful advocacy, Rizal was executed in 1896, largely fueled by accusations, sedition, stemming from his conflicts with the powerful religious orders. Taan niya po? So, ewan ko lang. Kung ano pong nararamdaman ninyo, natutuwa po ba kayo dyan? Ang malaman ninyo? Sabi sa Dr. Rizal pala, ay, biktima ng religious persecution. Ganon din po si Jesus Christ, ano? Yes, Jesus Christ is considered the primary victim of religious persecution on Christian theology. Tanya? Culminating in his crucifixion, he was targeted by the religious authorities for blasphemy and the Roman authorities as a political threat, enduring immense mental, physical, and emotional suffering. Tanya po? Ang Roman na naman ang nag-starring dito. Diba? Pinersecute nila si Jesus Christ. Pinersecute din nila si Jose Rizal. Napakalinaw kasi nga, Roman. Ayaw ko na lang magbanggit ng religion. Baka mamaya masaktan ng iba. Diba? Si Jesus Christ, pinersecute ng Roman. Si Jose Rizal, pinersecute din ng Roman. Ang galing talaga ng Roman. Targeted by authorities. O, di ba? Early life threats. Theological significance. Model for disciples. Tanyo? Ano sabi ni Dr. Rizal? Ang kasabihang, ang kabataan, ang pag-asa ng bayan na nagmumula sa ating pambansang bayani na si Dr. Rizal ay nangangahulugang ang mga kabataan ang may hawak ng susi ng kinabukasan, pag-unlad at pagbabago ng lipunan. Sila ang bagong henerasyon na inaasahang magtataguyod ng solusyon at magpapaunlad sa bayan. Pundasyon ng hinaharap, potensyal at kakayahan, responsibilidad, kahalagahan ng pagkilos. Ang tunay na pag-asa ng bayan ay hindi lamang sa pagiging bata, kundi sa kanilang pag-aksyon at pagsisikap para sa bayan. Kaya nga po, si Nonong Revealer, 1985, Pag-asa ng Bayan, na ngayon po ay akin na pong nilalantad ang katotohanan na bakit pinatay, bakit pinersecute si Jesus, bakit pinersecute si Jose Rizal. Alam na. Ini-comment po. God bless po. Ingat po kayo. At bahala na po ang Panginoon sa ating lahat. Kung ano man pong iisipin ninyo, malaya na po kayo. Kung ano din pong iisipin nating lahat, malaya din po tayo. Basta ang laging tatandaan, ang hindi kaya tanggapin na siya'y bubo, kailanman ay hindi ka magiging matalino. Nonong Revealer, the main goal is to build, not to destroy. Thank you and God bless.